Welcome. And here is Samson's stake. The dome versus the doom. The 20,000-seater fantasy dome in Accra, which has been operating for 5 years now, has been flattened by bulldozers. Leslie Queno, the owner, weeps over the destruction that has left him unable to salvage anything, expensive equipment and air conditioners. He's traumatized how he could lose what he says is his millions of dollars of investment, and without a court order. At the time, he had sued the trade fair and managed to serve an injunction motion on them. He reports that he had been called by national security over his inability to relocate and request for more time to do so. And that he brought the court processes to their attention. So he had hoped that in a democracy of the rule of law, such as ours pretend to be, his investment was protected, even if for a short period. Leslie thought his property could only go down under a demolition order from the court. But he was wrong. The courts are prohibited from issuing any such orders, as they are not backed by law. Former Chief Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah had calls to issue a directive to all judges to that effect in May 2021. By the rules, orders 43 to 45 of CI 47, that's the High Court rules. A court, upon declaring one victorious in a land suit, is simply to make orders giving that party, the victorious party, vacant possession of the land. In law, land is defined to include any building on it. So, it is the choice of the victorious party to decide what to do with any structure on a land they have been declared to be the owners. My concern is not about the imprudence in sinking $1 million into developing a land to which you hold such glaringly questionable title, ownership, if any at all. It is difficult to appreciate why managers of the trade fair and the national security watched and allowed the property to be erected in the first place. Raymond Archer's business on that enclave suffered a similar fate. If you won't grant Leslie extra time to pack out, as he says he was about doing, and if you won't grant him access onto the property, does common sense, humanity, and reasonable conduct not dictate that you take an inventory of his belongings, remove and take custody of his equipment, the air conditioners, and what have you, and require that he pays the cost to recover his belongings? I thought that would be a no-brainer. That you take a bulldozers onto the property and destroy everything on site. But what happened to the Republic versus Moffat and others, ex parte Alote, 1971? Justice Aban held that, quote, I would be laying down a very dangerous precedent if I were to hold that a party, when served with an application for an order of prohibition from the High Court, that is injunction, can disregard or ignore the said application and treat the court with contempt, end quote. This is what has become the general principle of law on the effects of a filed, served, and pending injunction application. This is the very same law and principle the Attorney General and the President has urged on Parliament. The Attorney General and the President say the application for injunction alone, once it is served on you, should operate to stay your hand from doing anything to the disputed property. And that, we know, is the law, according to Moffat. National security does not agree with its legal advisor, the Attorney General, and the Commander-in-Chief. They don't. Maybe those at that place, the trade fair and the national security, will be fired for their contrary conduct, especially for a business that was already packing out and pleaded for a bit more time to do so in the face of being declared a trespasser onto the dome property by the managers of the trade fair, as he alleges. And that is my take. Let not only be lawful, let's be considerate, and let's act swiftly when we have to act.